Here, yeah.
How about you, Doug? Where are you located?
I'm here.
Here on the Cape too?
Yeah, I'm here on the Cape, yeah.
I don't think I'm ever leaving. But the
All
way
right.
my talking.
Yeah. Deb's been going through chemo, so we're here for the time being.
Well, I offered my wife a trip to Barbados and she turned it down. So I know I'm not going over the bridge unless I get a permission.
Well, they approved the vaccine today, so get in line.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Let's get it out there for people fast. Other than these proceedings, do you, Doug, are you, Dick? Oh, hi, Dick. Meets, how are you? Hi, Bob. You do many Zoom conferences, Doug? Hi, Richard.
Hello there, Mr. Chairman. How are you?
Old and ugly.
No older than me,
Well,
than I.
we're all right. I'll call you Dad when I need help, okay?
Okay. You ain't seen nothing yet.
More fun to come, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Is
Now,
that
we
Doug?
won't have Sean.
Hey,
on
Dick.
this one.
Hello.
I haven't seen Doug Campbell in months.
I know, huh? Get the beard going and everything.
He's got a beard.
I know. Wow.
What time is it, Sandy?
5:56.
Oh, let's get started. We can't be late. We shouldn't be late, but we can't be early, right?
That's right.
Mr. Chairman, this is Karen.
Yes.
I want to let you know there's two meetings tonight at Town Hall. The selectmen are doing a meeting about the Dennis Harwich Yarmouth collaborative on the wastewater. And they are broadcasting live on the YouTube. And
Okay.
I'm gonna, once you get going, so right now we're not broadcasting live to YouTube. I want to let you know, we are recording the meeting and the meeting will be broadcast on YouTube, but it will not be live. I'm gonna run downstairs and see if we can be live, but I'm doubtful that we can run more than one meeting live on the YouTube.
Well, it's fine. Why can't we just be recorded and run it live at a later time?
Perfectly fine. I wanted to let you know.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. There is somebody in the audience who's requesting to speak, and I'm not sure who they are. They've come in as letter PALAIA. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Well, I
And
think that they should hold off and speak when we get to the petition they're interested in. I
Okay.
mean, if you'd like to inquire of them what they're
I can
interested in.
chat. We will chat with them. Who's missing? Let's see. Oh, that's it. Just those. Okay.
You sound like I feel.
Do you have your Christmas shopping done?
Oh, all
Did you
done,
get your
sure.
Christmas shopping done yet, Mr.?
Haven't wrapped anything, but it's all done, yeah. Uh-oh, who's there giving you guidance there, Mr. Iger? You're gonna need to get off the screen while we consider the first petition.
Are you talking to me, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just chimed in. Yes, I'm going to recuse myself. How's
think that
everybody
would be
doing
right.
tonight? Good.
You gonna,
Yeah, I
are you
will,
talking to me? You sound like, who is it?
Sean, you here or Florida?
I'm in Florida actually right now.
Ah, jeez.
It is a little cooler down here though, just to report. Dick, are you in
Ah,
Florida?
jeez.
No. No,
No?
not yet.
No, I'm here.
When we'll get there.
Is that Point Gammon behind you, Dick? Nate?
It is.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's where he has his other house out there.
Yeah.
That's my Neil McAuliffe painting. That's as close as I'm getting.
That's a nice picture right there. I like it. I know that beach well. Yeah. And those girls up in the upper left-hand corner, are they crashing the meeting?
So have you run down
Yeah, I
there?
don't
on
have
the
any
point?
girls up in the up corner. I know.
Oh, you're missing out. You're missing out.
Oh,
I'm going to adjust his camera.
This is the way we now practice law, huh, Sean?
yeah, it is. You know, there's pluses and minuses to it. The pluses are obviously you can be in your office and remotely for wherever you want to be. Of course, it's a little difficult sometimes, I find, for the clerks to get everybody on the same page, but it works out.
Particularly when you got paper you want to introduce, you know?
Yeah, that's difficult. That's very difficult.
Okay.
I see we have our IT experts in the upper left-hand corner.
That's generous of you.
Yes, no. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
What do you think? We
Everybody
all
getting
set?
ready for Christmas?
Working on it.
Uh,
Not the 24th yet, is it?
No, no, if it was the 24th, I'd be doing my Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
You read this, he's gonna open the meeting and then it goes to you.
How are you, Doug?
Doing great, Sean. How about yourself?
Good, thanks. Good. Getting ready for the
It's
holidays?
Harry.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any hair on my head, but I got it on my chin.
Yeah, I see that.
Are you trying to be Santa or something?
Well, we're doing a thing in my family this year, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, all the guys are trying to grow a beard, and then we can laugh at each other when we get to, if we ever get together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you get together on Zoom or
yeah, somehow.
Facebook or FaceTime rather. Yeah.
It is 6:02. If you'd like to start, Mr. Chairman, you are more than welcome.
We are just waiting on you.
Okay. Wait no
You want me to
longer.
check? You want me to sign off right now, Steve? I can do that.
Well, why don't you identify yourself so that we'll identify
Oh,
you
that's
and then
fine.
acknowledge
Oh,
that
right,
you're
right.
gonna recuse
There you
yourself. Okay.
That's fine.
You
Okay.
go ahead. The December
I think that's,
2020 meeting of the
Do you
Yarmouth
have an alternate?
Appeals is about.
he's going now.
As a precautionary measure to reduce the spread of the coronavirus, this meeting will be held by remote participation. My name is Sandy Clark, and I am the office administrator and will be serving as moderator for this virtual meeting, excuse me. I will now turn it over to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Good evening. My name is Stephen DeYoung. I'm here as the chairman of this board, and I will now begin by taking a roll call to determine if we have a quorum. Mr. Martin,
Here.
Mr. Neitz. Mr. Neitz,
Here.
are you here? Yeah, you have to say here if you would. Thank you. Mr. Igo
Here.
and Mr. Campbell.
Here,
All right, so we are all familiar with the process. Mr. Igo will now be stepping back from your screen as he must recuse himself from the first hearing before the board. Thank you. But with the quorum otherwise present, we will now call the meeting to order. And please, Ms. Moderator, go ahead and explain how this meeting will be conducted.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted via remote participation. Although no in-person attendance will be permitted, every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access and participate in the proceedings.
Persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by watching via the virtual meeting or the live feed on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel. You may also listen to the meeting by dialing in to the number provided on the notice of meeting. The recording of the meeting will be also available on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel for future viewing. Please be patient as we work to overcome any technological challenges with the virtual meetings. For all meetings, audience participants will enter the virtual meeting muted. Participants will be unmuted when called upon to speak by the chair or moderator. All votes must be roll call votes. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself to avoid unnecessary background noise. Do not use speakerphone or Bluetooth devices when speaking. For applicants and presenters, applicants can use the raise hand button or press 9 on their phone to identify themselves to the chair. The moderator will unmute applicants when they are called upon to speak during their portion of the agenda. Applications or presentations provided by the applicant will be displayed in the virtual meeting by the moderator and advanced by the moderator. Or if pre-approved for larger projects, temporary panelist capabilities may be given to presenters to share their screen giving their presentation. All presenters and speakers need to identify themselves by first, last name, and affiliation when speaking. For public hearings, during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment, the chair will ask who in the audience has any public comments or questions. Members of the public may speak by selecting the raise hand button or pressing 9 on their phone and waiting for the chair to call on them to speak. As an alternative to making comments via the online audio or phone, you may also submit comments to the moderator via the virtual meeting chat function during the public comment period only when announced by the chair. To do this, click on the chat icon and type your message. When prompted, the moderator will read comments and questions into the record. Members of the public recognized by the chair are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for the public record, and then provide their comment. Prior to concluding opportunities for public comment, the chair will ask one last time if anyone wishes to speak or give additional comment. I now hand the meeting back to the board.
Well, thank you very much. You've done a wonderful job this evening, Ms. Clark, and we thank you. Now, I do want to point out to anybody that may be in our audience that despite what Ms. Clark just said, we may not be on the YouTube channel live tonight, I'm informed. And so for those people that are tuning into that channel expecting to see us, I think you'll be disappointed. But nevertheless, you'll see us at some future date. And with that, we'll call our first petition. That is petition number 4868, that of James Igo of 40 Skeeken Street, Somerville. Property concerned by this petition is number 43 Webster Road, West Yarmouth, Massachusetts. That property being in an R25 zoning district. Tonight, our applicant is represented, I believe, by Mr. Talcott. And it's concerning a desire on the part of the applicant to construct a single-family dwelling on a pre-existing non-conforming lot, which is currently improved by a garage only. And with that, if we could have the petitioner's representative or petitioner identify yourself. If the chair, if the moderator.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Please.
I can't see anybody. I can hear you, but I don't see anybody else.
I think if you tap the left side of your screen, you would see a part that would show that you can join in a gathering, a group.
Well, I'm here and I have blocks for each of you, but where there were pictures of you previously, they're
Oh.
all black now.
I don't know. That I can't speak to. That must be a technological issue with
Is
the.
that got something to do with?
We
I
can see
suspect
you.
that's a problem with maybe Kathy and or Sandy can work that out.
You have a button that says stop video or start video.
I can see myself, but I can't see any of you. I don't care to see myself.
This is
Oh,
Karen
here's
Green.
Dick Martin.
Up at the top right-hand
I
corner,
can see I can see this part.
Do you see it,
Yeah.
something at the top right of your screen, Mr. Neitz, that says speaker view or gallery view? If you hover over the top
Or just view.
corner?
Well, I have all that, and I had everybody before, and then everybody disappeared. Now I have myself and Dick Martin and Paul Tardif, and I cannot see the chairman or Doug Campbell or Sandy Clark or anybody else.
Yeah, we've closed our video, so you won't.
There, I just got Doug Campbell back, but I still don't have the chair.
Well, I've got a big mouth. You can hear me anyway. So if
I can
we
hear you,
could
but I
go
always
on.
like to see your facial expressions, Mr. Chair. I know when to shut up.
Well, I don't know. Is there
Okay,
any
go
hope that
ahead.
we can rectify this for Mr. Needs there, moderator?
The only suggestion I can make is that maybe he leave the meeting and rejoin the meeting. I think that if Mr. Neitz is okay with sound, he's certainly participating in the meeting. I leave that to your discretion.
Well, I've got 3 out of the 4 members, so I'll go ahead. I just don't have the chair.
All right, very good. So I see Mr. Tardif's in attendance now, and you're going to be presenting for the petitioner, are you, Mr. Tardif?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
Thank you. First of all, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
I
For
can
the
see
record-
you okay, too.
See, all right, sorry about that. For the record, my name is Paul Tardif. I'm an attorney in Yarmouth Port, and I represent the petitioner, James Igo, who's the potential owner of the property at 43 Webster Road in West Yarmouth. And as you indicated, we are seeking a special permit pursuant to 104.3.2 of the bylaw. First of all, this property is in the R25 zoning district and is improved with a 1-story, 2-car garage. The lot actually consists of 2 lots put together to form the property in issue. The property contains approximately 11,175 square feet. Now, this garage is located approximately 6 feet from the northwest boundary and approximately 29.5 feet from Webster Road. Based on the Yarmouth zoning bylaw, section 203.3, the front yard setback for this lot need only be 27 feet based on the averaging calculation of 30% of the depth of the lot, which in this case is 90 feet. The neighborhood is residential and is comprised of 1-story and 2-story single-family homes on lots generally averaging square footage about half of the total of this property. A little history for you, Mr. Chairman. In June of 2020, a lot inquiry form was submitted to the building department to determine if the lot was buildable. Assistant Building Commissioner, Mr. Brandolini, determined that the lot was not buildable for the reason that it had merged with the abutting lot to the rear, so the common boundary in the back at 48 Brewster Road. In the fall of 2020, additional information was submitted to the building department, which evidenced that this lot, which had been improved with the garage prior to the zoning change in 1972, was no longer a lot, as they use that term, for purposes of merger determination. Rather, it was a developed lot prior to the zoning change, and as such would be classified as a legally pre-existing non-conforming lot and was grandfathered, which changes a lot of things. Based on that new evidence, the building department amended its prior decision and found that a special permit would be required to construct a single-family home on the lot. The proposal is to leave the garage in its present location and to construct a 2-story single-family dwelling with 3 bedrooms. The dwelling will be located completely within the building envelope and will comply with all the setbacks, lot coverage requirements, and the height restriction. In the R25 zoning district, you already know what those setbacks are. And again, we will be in full compliance with that. Under 104.3.2, this board can issue a special permit to allow for the construction of this home if it's determined that it will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than is the existing, well, it says non-conforming structure. In this case, the only structure on the lot is a garage. You have, I believe, the elevations and the floor plans for that design for the new house, which I think is going to be great for the neighborhood. As I indicated, it's going to be fully compliant with all the bulk requirements. A new Title V septic system will be installed. And obviously the use is allowed by right in the zoning district. I don't think it's going to be detrimental at all, and far from substantially detrimental. If you have any questions in this regard, I'm happy to attempt to answer those for you. Thank you.
Thank you for your concise presentation. Mr. Neitz, would you have any question of Mr. Tata? Questions, Rob? Your microphone is off. Dick, your microphone is off, Mr. Neitz. Mr. Neitz, your microphone's off. Yeah,
Can you hear
there we
me?
go.
I'm still having a little bit of transmission problem with the, I can barely hear the presentation and I have no, I don't know whether it's my reception or what, but I have just hearing every other word of Mr. Tardiff's presentation, but I think I got the gist of it. I have a question about whether the property is, number one, in the flood zone. And also I had a question about the size of the dwelling that had been previously on the site. In number of bedrooms particularly.
Okay, the only structure that's been on this lot is a 2-car garage.
Oh, there was not a house there before that was torn down?
No, we don't believe so.
Is that a no?
That's no, there was no other house there, no.
Okay, that's all I have right now, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
I
thank you,
think I'm
Mr.
gonna try to
Campbell.
log in again on another device.
All righty. Mr. Campbell, you need to turn on your mic, and if you have any questions of Mr. Tata, please let us know.
I'm seeing here on the plan that the existing garage is gonna stay a garage and there's not gonna be anything in there.
That's correct.
And the house is gonna be 936 square feet.
On the footprint, yes.
Yep. That's all I have right now.
I thank you. Mr. Martin?
So obviously this lot belongs to the McGovern property does or did belong to the McGovern property to the left of the property, right to the west. Is that right, Mr. Tata?
We tried to decide that, and there are 3 different theories that we have been given. One was that it was owned by the property to the rear, which is on Brewster Road. Then we were told it was possibly owned by the neighbor to the left, to the right, if you're looking at it, except that property has its own driveway. And then we were told it's possible that it was owned by the house across the street from it, across Webster Road. I don't know.
It's relevant anyways, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions of the petition.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tata, for your presentation. You mentioned that we had elevation shown on a plan, and quite frankly, I do have that plan in front of me, but my eyes fail as I age, and I can't tell what the elevation to the top ridge line is. Could you give me that, please?
27 feet.
Oh, good, okay.
And
There's
just
no
so
reason
you'll
to
know,
need it.
lot coverage will be at 14.5%.
Yeah, and so really, the only thing that makes you even come before us tonight is the fact that this is on a you're seeking to do this on a pre-existing non-conforming lot. Is that right?
That's correct.
There's no other relief you're asking for. You're not asking for any setback relief or sideline relief or size relief or lot coverage size relief. Well, good. I don't have any other questions. However, we do want to know if the audience might have, anybody attending in the audience might have a question. And I'll ask the moderator to identify it if that should occur. So anyone who would like to say anything in favor of this petition, please let our moderator know and she will identify you and let you say what you need to say.
There are 2 hands, Mr. Chairman. One is for a Mr. Talcott, and the other is an unidentified name.
All right, so why don't we start with the
Your
first
hand's
gentleman
raised.
that's identified? If you would
Okay.
invite him into our meeting, please.
Mr. Talcott, you can speak.
All right, am I in?
You are in.
My name's William Talcott from 37 Webster Road, facing the property. It's the one to the right of the existing garage. Just to clear up one quick thing, that lot, the parcel, the garage that's on the parcel is owned by the person across the street.
Ah,
Back there. And then it got split up over the years, and there might be a little other nuances there also, but that's what happened eventually. But my question is, as the applicant is not trying to get any variances, if the attorney could just repeat again, why do we need the special permit? Through the chair, of course.
well, that's something that I just recited with him. There is no relief that is needed except for the fact that this is a non-conforming lot. So they couldn't. I'm sorry, sir.
No, I'm sorry. Just the fact that it's non-conforming, it needs a special permit from the Board of Appeals?
Yes, in all non-conforming lots, if you wish to develop them, it's by special permit, provided it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot upon which it has been improvement. In this instance, each sideline and the setback requirements are not only met, they're exceeded. So there's no other relief they truly need here.
What is the side setbacks in the town of Yarmouth?
In this application, well, it's 15 feet on this R25, but in this application, the side setback is actually 27 feet.
Right. And the existing garage obviously does not meet that, but that's the fact that it's pre-existing.
That's correct.
Would I be so bold as to, my concern is it beyond the purview maybe to the intent of this property? Will it be a rental property or a primary residence or a secondary residence?
Yeah, that's something we really aren't at liberty to inquire of the, they can put it to whatever use is allowed in this town. So,
Thank you.
I mean, I gotta admit, I'd like to know that answer in many cases too, but it really isn't fair to ask it of the applicant, so.
Okay. Then just one final note is the house that's on the other side of this property. When that, a large unit went in with 5 bedrooms and it's basically turned into a party house for the, a rental property. And it has changed the whole, the street as it was. That's my only concern, but if it's not in your purview or my purview, so be it.
Well, if they're noisy over there, feel free to call the police and have them respond. You want to sleep at night too.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And there's somebody else that's unidentified. In the future, I don't mean to chastise anybody, but in the future, if you could give us your name, that would be great before you get on the screen, because everyone wants to make sure we get the names right. So whoever is the next party, Madam Moderator, if you'd invite them in, that'd be great.
Okay, I have unmuted their microphone and they should be able to speak. So the caller labeled.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you. To identify myself, I was identified earlier. The last name is Palaia. P is in Peter, A-L-A-I-A. And for the record, I am at 44 Webster Road. And to confirm what Mr. Talcott said, yes, that property did belong to the Grahams, who lived at 40 Webster Road. I guess my only concern really is why is it non-conforming? I have a question regarding, and I didn't really quite hear it answered as to what makes it non-conforming.
Sure, happy to help you with that. It's lot
And then
size.
and the second question, the only concern I have is the height. And I understand Mr. Talcott's concern about, Airbnb went public today with this huge number, and the last thing we want is a party house on the street.
I understand. Well, with respect to your first question, it's non-conforming because this property is in a zoning district that is identified as R25, which means it needs 25,000 square feet in order to be a conforming lot. This lot only has, I don't have the, 11,175 square feet. So there's the reason for its non-conformity.
Okay.
And this is true of a lot of lots in Yarmouth that were developed before zoning came in. And we see these lots, very small lots, needing relief from time to time. And, they certainly, if they meet the criteria of a special permit, we like to grant them. So,
Okay.
in answer to your second question,
My lot is definitely smaller than that, so I understand that.
all right, and so in answer to your second question, in this zoning district, there's a height limitation of 35 feet. I asked that question of Mr. Tardif, who assured me that even though I can't read the dimensions as shown on the plan, that it indicates it is 27 feet to the peak, meaning it's 8 feet below that allowed by zoning.
Yeah. Now that's 8 feet to the gutters, or, I'm sorry.
It's 27 feet to the peak.
To the peak where the pitch, the top, very
To the
top, where
top,
Santa Claus
The
would
very
land.
tippity top, yeah.
Gotcha. We're Santa, yeah, all right.
Wait a minute, we have a member I haven't identified yet there, Mr. Martin. Okay, yeah.
That's Kitty.
I guess he's fleeting, yeah.
He's a little affectionate.
Does that answer your question, sir? Sir?
A phone call comes in at the same time I had to drop off. The last question I have is regarding the septic. Can somebody go over how the septic is going to be arranged? Is this going to be one of these raised beds out in front with a 3-foot wall up off the road level, or is this going to be below grade? How's that going to work?
Well, that's a matter for the Board of Health, but I would ask Mr. Tardif to respond to that. Are you aware, Mr. Tardif?
Yeah, the first of all, the septic system will be located in the front setback, which is why the house is positioned so far away from the street. I don't believe it's going to be a raised system.
Questions? Any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
All right, well, we thank you. So that's two people that have spoken after requesting anybody who was in favor of the petition. Is anybody in opposition to the petition in our audience? And if so, if you'd please identify yourself to the moderator and be heard. And Mr. Talcott and Mr. Palaia, if you could shut off your microphones, we'd appreciate it.
Now, how do I do that?
Yeah, put mute on. Should be there you go. Thank you both. All right, Ms. Moderator.
There are no hands raised.
All right, then let's now move it to the board's discussion and deliberations on the petition. We'll start with you, Mr. Martin, if we could, please. What are your thoughts on this petition?
I don't have any issues. Actually, I had one of the kind of the same question. I guess they're before the Board of Appeals. I mean, if this was just an empty small lot, it would meet grandfathering and not need Board of Appeals. So I take it it's because of the garage being there and the garage being non-conforming in terms of setbacks. Is that right, Paul?
Well, it's not non-conforming with regard to setbacks, because when that garage was built, I don't think we had.
Maybe we didn't have setbacks.
Well, we had setbacks, but it's funny because we started with what is typically an accessory structure, usually accessory to a house, but we didn't have a house. So we started with the garage and we're working our way backwards. So luckily, the grandfathering, and we're allowed to leave that garage there and put the house on. So
That's because that structure is there that you're here, essentially.
correct. Yeah. And otherwise, whoop. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
otherwise what?
Otherwise, yeah, I mean, you're right. If it wasn't for that garage and we had not had a merger, what we would be proposing would be allowed by right.
Right. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's why I was a little confused on. beyond that, I don't have any issue, provided everything's grandfathered. The new structure is going to meet all conformities necessary in terms of setbacks. And I do know that area, by the way, is good and high and dry, and it should be a below grade septic system. And I have no issues.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell?
I agree with Mr. Martin. I think the size of the lot is comparable to the other properties around it. And what they're doing is they're conforming, and, I agree. I think it's a decent plan here.
All right, Mr. Neitz?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm still having some technical issues. I've been logging in and out, so if that's what the host is wondering why I'm off and on, but I've heard most of the hearing. I did not hear the response to my question about whether the property was in the flood zone. Was that determined?
I can check the plan to make sure. I mean, I know this,
If
Mr.
it's
Martin.
any help, I'm 99% sure it's not in the flood zone. That
Really?
area-
Okay.
that area of Webster's. good.
I was concerned about whether it might affect the elevation if it needed to be built up. So
Well, if it is in a flood zone. the
but
building
if that's not a
inspector is going
concern,
to
I guess
report.
I'm not going to.
I'm not seeing that on this plan.
Yes, please, Ms. Clark. We can't hear you, but there you go. We still can't hear you.
Mr. Palaia has his hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
real-
I'm not sure if you'd like to recognize him again.
Who's that?
Mr. Palaia, he was the
Oh,
second.
surely, please. Let's recognize him again.
Okay, Mr. Palaia, you've been unmuted.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt your meeting, Mr. Chairman, but I just wanted to offer a little bit of history about that garage. That
Oh, we're
lot-
more interested. All right,
Well,
go
all
ahead,
right.
please.
Okay, now just so everybody knows, that lot was originally owned by the man that developed this neighborhood. And his son-in-law, Bob Graham, built that garage because his original intent was to build a house over there for his wife who was disabled. He built the garage first. He never made it to the house. That's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry
Thank
to
you so
interrupt
very-
you.
No,
Sorry
that's
to
fine.
interrupt you.
Thank you, but before you leave us, are you
I'm not
aware
leaving,
of
I'm
whether or
still
not
on.
this are you aware of whether or not this property is in the flood zone?
Am I aware? I know the
Yes.
house, I know that the house next to it at 47 Webster is in a flood zone, yes.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to say this, Mr. Neitz, if the building inspector determines it is in a flood zone, he's going to have requirements for its construction that will vary significantly from what we're looking at here. And before they could ever raise it above 35 feet, which is very unlikely for us to consider in any event, we would have to hear about it again. Would you agree with that, Mr. Tata?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's why I raised the issue as to whether. Okay, so if it goes above 35, regardless of why, it has to come back to us. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That's my understanding, yeah. Unless there's something unique in the flood zone determinations.
Actually, on the site plan that was provided, Mr. Chairman, it says it's in an X flood zone, so it's not in a flood zone.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. Thank you very much. I can't read anything on that plan other than see later drawings. All right, so in considering the petition, I got to tell you, I don't see.
Blind
anything
leading
that-
the blind.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry, who? Mr. Neitz, did you say something?
Yes. No, I said it's kind of the blind leading the blind. I've only heard, every other word of this, and then I ask a question and nobody seems to know or be able to read the plan. So we're technologically challenged tonight.
We sure are. All right, well, I think that the petition, we can all agree, this will not result in any undue hazard, nuisance, nor congestion by allowing this house to be here. It's modest. It's in with the 3 bedrooms only. It is in the same location as many other residential structures along this road. And I can't see it not meeting the criteria of a special permit. I think it will be in keeping with the character of the neighborhood in town. And I know I'm going to support it if brought to a vote. Does anyone have anything else they would like to say? That being board members. All right, seeing none, we'll now bring it to a roll call vote. Mr. Martin, on the petition as presented, aye or nay? Oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna still need a motion, aren't we, even with the roll call vote?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve petition 4868 as requested.
All right, a second to that, please.
I'll second that.
That was Mr. Campbell. Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell. All right, now, does anyone care to have any discussion on it? If so, we can go right around the table again, and I apologize for that error in my way. Mr. Martin, did you have any thoughts you wanted to make on this motion you've now made?
Nope.
All right, Mr. Campbell,
Nope.
Mr. Neitz.
I don't think so.
We're getting delays and looking at you too. So. And I have no further thoughts on it. We'll then bring it.
Well, I
to a
can't
roll
see
call.
any of you, so that's,
All right, we'll now bring it to a roll call vote. We'll start with Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin on the motion.
I vote aye.
Mr. Campbell on the motion.
Aye.
Mr. Neitz on the motion.
aye.
And I'm an aye, so that carries unanimously. Mr. Tardif, thank you. I'll look forward to getting a draft decision.
Thank you very much.
All right, that brings us to our next matter. If you just give me a moment. That is petition number 4869, that of Ryan Family Amusements Incorporated, 1067 Route 28, South Yarmouth, Mass. Is the location of the property. This property is in a B2 zoning district. Tonight, our applicant is seeking a special permit under zoning bylaw 303.1.3 or a variance under bylaw 303.5.5.3 to remove existing conforming sign and replace with new non-conforming sign to the front of the building. And whoever's presenting, would you please identify yourself to our moderator and tell us about your petition? Welcome back, Mr. Igo, by the way.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I've promoted Mr. Brennan and Mr. Campbell.
All right,
They should be joining the meeting shortly.
see Mr. Brennan. If Mr.
Yes.
Brennan's presenting, you can.
Hello, my
feel free
name's
to go
Charlie
right
Brennan.
ahead.
I'm here from Simple Signs of Cape Cod.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Brennan. Do you have a camera capability?
I do, and the camera is right here and on. It should be.
Well, you probably have to turn the video on.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
There you
Beautiful.
go.
All right.
Sure, that works. Now
Yeah.
we're all happy.
All right.
If you
Yes,
go,
my-
hang on a second. I'm not seeing Mr. Oh, Mr. Neitz is here, but I don't think he's on with us. One day this will all be.
Well, I am
perfected.
here.
Oh, good, good. I just didn't see any indication of that. Thank you.
Well,
There you
I'm
are.
here. I just can't see anything else except myself.
Mr.
So
Chairman,
I'm not gonna be able to see the
Mr.
any
Chairman,
videos here, but go ahead.
All right, please. Yeah, Mr. Igo, what did you want to say?
I was just gonna say, could you send Karen and Sandy over to Dick's house to fix his video?
I don't think it's Dick's fault. I think it's.
Hey,
just-
listen, I've been on video most of the day in
Yeah.
Zooms, and I have not had any issues, so I
Yeah.
don't think it's all my
Not on
fault.
your end, yeah. Yeah, well, let's see if we can muddle through it as best we can. We now have a 5-member board. Mr. Brennan, go ahead and tell us about your petition, please.
Yes, how you doing? My name is Charlie Brennan from Simple Signs of Cape Cod, and I'm here representing Ryan Family Amusements at their location at 1067 Route 28 in South Yarmouth. Currently, the sign they have up, Cape Bull, does not represent their updated branding that they have. Their updated branding consists of an oval logo, and to put that in, to change the signage on the building to go with this signage that's on all of their other locations, it would be to put the oval on the building. If they put the oval on, they're only allowed 24 inches tall, which would make the oval 40 inches wide. If you have the papers in front of you, that's a very tiny logo to have on such a big building. They occupy 174 square feet, linear feet of frontage in that building, which allows them 60 square feet maximum, because that's the maximum allowed in signage on the building itself. What they're asking for is 40 square feet, which is 96 inches wide and 60 inches tall.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say, or whoever else is here with this? Mr. Campbell, I think I heard was here, Peter Campbell.
The
Hello,
current
Mr.
logo,
Campbell. I'm sorry?
the current
Mr.
logo is, I'm sorry, the current logo is 50 square feet, and they're asking for a 40 square foot logo, just again, because it's their new branding, and their branding will draw people to the business, because people recognize it when they come here from other places.
I got you.
Well, one thing I would like to mention, if it's possible, we're just so far back from the street. The size to conform, I just think would be too small.
Yeah, it's sad we don't have any depictions of the sign. I'm not seeing any.
Oh, we sent
But we-
No,
The very last pages.
Yeah, I'm happy to share my screen.
Oh, I apologize. There it is. Yep, I didn't go far enough. Thank you. Thank you all. Yep. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's start with Mr. Igo, since he didn't have any fun in the last one. Go ahead, Mr. Igo. Any questions of our petitioner?
No, I don't have any questions at this time. I would suggest to the board that we have dealt with similar issues like this with businesses along Route 28 as well as along Station Ave that are set back from the roadway. And we have in the past granted relief to them. I have no questions, but I will save that for the discussion period. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Neitz, please. There you are.
I'm here. I just saw that flash that was on the screen, but I really can't get a sense for the difference between what's proposed and what's there. Is there any drawing or sketch or visual that would give us a comparison as to the sizes other than the measurements?
Okay, could you provide that to us, please, Ms. Moderator? Yeah.
I believe this is the proposed, and it's part of the packet right towards the end. That's the second to last page of the packet. And then the last page of the packet was the existing information. And I think down the bottom, you can see the difference.
I can't see. Okay, I'm trying to enlarge it.
So if I might,
Is there no sign on the street?
this is just the building sign.
Is there no sign on the street at all?
Yes, there is.
There's a sign, there is a sign on the street, and to be honest with you, it's not in the best shape. either. It's kind of banged up a little bit.
I thought it was falling down when I went by it today. And I
Yeah.
wondered what's the place the sign that's there.
Eventually, they might be replacing the sign that's there. I do not know. We're not contracted to do that right now. But that would be under a different application, and that would be allowed different square footage. So we wouldn't be going into the square footage of the road sign or the building sign for either one.
Well, I think it's probably a better approach to have both before us at the same time, so we can make a determination as to whether a variance is needed for either. It's kind of tough to do it piecemeal.
The road sign wouldn't need a variance because that would fall into the 18 square feet that's allowed, no matter what size sign we have on the building.
So you're not going to be looking for any relief for the road sign?
No, sir, we won't.
So the only relief for signage would be the size that's depicted on the bottom portion of my screen right now that shows the one that's allowed by the code and the proposed sign. Is that correct?
Correct. And the only reason that that's the one that's allowed by the code is because the code reads 24 inches tall and 1/3 the length of the building up to 60 square feet. Well, 24 inches tall, the sign is only 40 inches wide. So they're asking for an 8-foot wide by 5-foot tall sign, which is only 40 square feet, which still is considerably less than what is allowed by the actual code if they put a conforming sign up. But a conforming sign.
There's an existing sign there also that says Cape Bowl that's not shown in this picture.
There is, that would be taken down. That is up on the top of the photos, and that would be taken down. That wouldn't be there anymore. That sign is
Okay.
currently 50 square feet, and we're only asking for 40 square feet.
So the only sign that would be there, including on the awning, would be the one that's up at the gable, at the top of the gable?
Yes, there would be nothing on the awning either, and the Cape Bowl sign wouldn't be there. It would just be the one sign.
I don't think we should have to dig for this information. I think it's up to the petitioner to explain what's going and what's staying. And I think you did yourself a disservice by not explaining that the Cape Bowl was going. There was not going to be any advertising or display signs on the awning. And the only sign on the front of that building will be that which is proposed, which needs the variance. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. But on page 1 of 1 on the application for the hearing, I wrote remove existing sign and add a 96 by 60 inch sign to the front of the building.
Well, you didn't say you were removing the Cape Bowl section, did you?
I sure did on the first page of the variance application. That's the very first line that I wrote after I wrote their name and address.
It says remove existing sign.
It sure does.
I presume that was the sign that was there above.
It is the one that
I'm not
says
going to
Cape
argue
Bowl.
with you, but
Sorry.
I'm not going to argue with you, but I think you've done yourself a disservice by not presenting what's actually going to happen there.
I thought with all the pictures were presenting exactly what's going to happen.
Well, we're very technically challenged tonight to have pictures be the basis of your petition. So I think you need to augment it a little bit.
I think that's absolutely a good sound advice by Mr. Neitz for anybody that's going to be speaking to us as well as we move along. Because you have to understand that we're all working from remote locations. So the more information that you can provide to us, the better off we will be. And we appreciate very much the presentation, Mr. Brennan, but as you can see, some questions were left unresolved. I'll have my own questions as we get to my turn, but right now, Mr. Neitz, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
No, that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neitz. Mr. Martin?
No, I understand the petition, and we're essentially looking for relief because we want a certain shape to the logo. It's going to be above the doorway, and it's overall smaller than what's there now, which is coming down. And so the only reason they're here is because to maintain their logo shape, it's going to be over 2 feet tall. I think it's, if you look at the pictures, I certainly prefer the new logo sign, and it's a lot less obtrusive in my estimation than the existing Cape Bowl sign. So I have no issue whatsoever with what's petitioned here tonight.
Mr. Campbell, your thoughts?
And one
No
question I have, is it going to be, is the sign gonna be lit? Is it gonna be like neon or lit, or is it just gonna be a sign?
It won't be neon. The face will be lit with LEDs from the inside of it.
Okay.
Which is allowed in the town. That's not what we're asking for a variance for. That is.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Mr. Igo?
No, I'm all set right now.
I have no questions other than if you would please, Mr. Brennan, tell me what is the total square footage of the new sign?
The total square footage of the new sign is 40 square feet.
40 square feet?
Yes, sir. We are taking down a 50 square foot sign that says Cape Bowl. Those letters will be removed from the building. And we're proposing to put up a 40 square foot sign that is 60 inches tall, 8 feet wide. It's an oval. 24 inches wide is what's allowed by the code, but we are allowed up to 60 square feet according to the code due to the fact that they occupy 174 linear feet of the front of the building. Therefore, I think asking for 40 square foot, which is less than the current size of the sign and which is considerably less of what is allowed by the building code, I think that that's not a far stretch.
All right, well, now we're going to read into the record, please, before proceeding on. Correspondence that of Christine Greeley, December 10th, 2020. Ms. Greeley writes that she wishes to express her opposition and concerns with the application by Ryan Family Amusements for permission to place a non-conforming sign along Route 28. I have publicly stated for many years my concerns with the blighted, overly commercial appearance of the road and the message it makes about Yarmouth. I have been pleased by the efforts in recent years of so many boards and businesses with the improvements of setbacks, landscaping, and updated signage. Please do not allow the slippery. I'm sorry. Please do not allow the slippery slope of a non-conforming sign, as it will set precedents for others to follow and lead us away from the work so many have committed to. As well, we have a communication from Ms. Susan Britta, and certainly the board members know Ms. Britta. She was a former member of our board, and we miss her dearly. I am Susan Britta and reside in West Yarmouth. I cannot participate by Zoom for this meeting, but have submitted the statement below and asked that it be considered during the public comment period in opposition to petition 4869. Petition 4869 involves removal of a conforming business sign along Route 28 and replacing the sign with a non-conforming sign. I believe one of the particular goals of zoning is to create and encourage a community environment that conforms to zoning requirements. Application of such requirements assures consistency and all are treated fairly. During several recent visioning sessions, residents have loudly expressed dismay over the dismal condition of Route 28, but are hopeful that new development opportunities afforded by the wastewater project will enhance Route 28. Strict adherence to zoning requirements will lay at the groundwork for such opportunities. I urge the board to reject the application, which would sacrifice public benefit for private gain. Very truly yours. So thank you, Ms. Britta. All right, we have no other correspondence, but we're now going to invite to speak to the board anyone who would care to speak in favor of this petition. If you'd let the moderator know, we'll invite you in.
Mr. Chairman, I do not see any hands.
And do we see anybody in the audience who would now care to speak in opposition to this petition? If so, please raise your hand, let the moderator know.
There are no hands raised.
All right, so we now close it to public commentary and input into the petition, and we now open it up to board discussion and deliberations. We'll start with Mr. Neitz. Mr. Neitz, your thoughts?
Aside from a little frustration, I think I'm okay. I'm sorry I had to get the information out of the petitioner that I was looking for. I think it should have been made clearer in their presentation that the Cape Bowl was not going to be there anymore. And there would be no advertising or signage on the awning. Just from my perspective, I think the overall impact of the new sign is a good one, and I don't have a problem with it.
Thank you very much. Well, I think Mr. Brennan is chastised and aware that next time he comes in, he better tell us the whole project. Mr. Martin, please.
Yeah, well, I understand those who are writing in with concerns as to, giving any kind of relief here. I think the relief is warranted under the circumstances, this being such a big building, being so far from the street, and certainly looking at what's there now with the great big Cape Bowl and looking at the proposed logo sign, which is higher but overall smaller. I think it's a very good balancing act and is actually an attractive sign that is certainly meets all the criteria for giving relief as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Campbell, do you have any comments?
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I would like to see the sign out front fixed too, but I'm okay with what they designed and what they presented.
And Mr. Igo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I stated before, we have had this problem in front of us before. We have granted relief in the past to other petitioners, specifically Shaw's across the street and Sports World, which is now, I guess, Skull Island, both and as well as Stop and Shop on Station Ave. All three of those
Kia and the Kia dealership.
And the Kia dealership. Thank you. So I think the board is sensitive to the situation that many of our businesses find themselves in when they're set back as far as they are from Route 28. We do want to give them the ability to be noticed by traffic that is going by. And so we do make this special circumstance for them in the form of allowing them to have larger signs than the bylaw would normally permit. I do think that they meet the criteria for a variance. I think that it represents a substantial hardship, given the fact that there's setbacks so far. I believe that hardship is owing to the shape of the lot and that the lot being deep. And I think that that relief can be granted without nullifying the intent or purpose of the bylaw. So I would urge the board to vote in favor of this. I think the board sounds like they will, and I plan on supporting this, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just if I could have a moment. Well, I was a great proponent of the sign code. I hate to see deviations from it, but I also think that this one makes logical sense. It's one, a branding of this business, and we certainly want to encourage this kind of a business as we see them develop around the Cape. It gives kids something to do other than sit at home and play video games. They now can go to Ryan's and play video games. But in these times of COVID concerns, I think any business enhancement, if it would be as subtle and as indistinct as this, would be a benefit to all concerned. I'm particularly struck by the fact that our petitioner isn't seeking to maximize that which they could do on this application, but they are putting forth a very tasteful sign. And I agree with Mr. Neitz completely that it's a great trade-off to that big, what I will say to you is a very unattractive Cape Bowl red sign that I've been looking at for the last however many years, probably about 40, I guess.
35.
So it's
35.
35. Well, it's a nice, it's a nice new sign. And I think Mr. Igo is right on the money. We have accommodated these things in the past, particularly when they're back off the road. And the most recent one of that is the Kia, the dealership that I know we sat on fairly recently. And it was because you couldn't see what they had if they conformed to the sign bylaw. You couldn't see what they had if you were out on the road looking in. Yeah, you just couldn't read it. The average person couldn't read it. So It needed to be increased in its size, and we accommodated that. And this is an equally deep building from the streetscape, and I think it's a great request, and a simple request that I think we should support. With that, is anybody prepared to make a motion so that we can move this along?
I would move the petition as presented.
That would be as a variance. Is that correct, Mr.
Yes.
Neate? All right.
Yeah, and I think we've gone over several of the members have gone over the reasons for that, and that's certainly the size of the lot and the configuration of the lot and its distance from the street of the building. So I think I don't think there's any question about the trade-offs and trying to help a business maintain their business in these times is of vital importance. And I think that the overall impact to the town is a good one, because I think what's proposed is better than what's there.
Great. And is there a second to that motion?
I'll second Mr. Neese's motion.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. And does the board care to have any discussion? Any member care to have any discussion before moving it along to a vote? And seeing none, we'll start with the roll call, please. Mr. Neate, your motion will start with you. Are you aye or nay?
Surprisingly, I will vote in favor of the motion.
And so we'll go logically then to Mr. Martin. Are you an aye or a nay, Mr. Martin? And Mr. Campbell, your thoughts on the vote?
I,
All right, Mr. Igo, your thoughts or your vote? Aye. And my vote is an aye, so that carries unanimously. Gentlemen, what will occur is that there will be a decision drafted. That decision will be drafted as fast as I can get around to doing it with the other world of paperwork I have to do. Once it's completed, it will then be filed with the town clerk's office. 20 days must elapse before that will be considered final. Assuming no one appeals from our decision, that then would be a grant of a variance that you would need to take to the Barnstable Registry of Deeds, record there, and return proof of that you've recorded it to Ms. Clark. She will give you all the details that you need to fulfill these missions. And we thank you, particularly Mr. Campbell. I want to say thank you for running a good business over there that seems to never have many problems that you might otherwise assume could occur with a business like this. So
Thank you
you're
very
doing
much.
a good job. You're doing a good job. Thank you. All right, that brings us to our next petition. That is petition number. You're quite welcome. Yeah. That brings us to a petition 4870, that of S. Robert Fish Jr., trustee of the 29 Lewis Boulevard, number 4 nominee trust. The property is located at 29 Lewis Bay Boulevard, and it is unit 4 of that location. That property is in an R25 zoning district. Our applicant this evening seeks to modify special permit 3851. Specifically, conditions 12 and 13 are in the alternative. A new special permit under 104.3.2 and 104.4.1 is being sought to make alterations to unit number 4 with no change to the footprint of the dwelling or the number of bedrooms. And for those at home that might be enthralled by our meeting, you will know that this matter was before us earlier on a different on different requests and is now again ably presented by the petitioner's representative, Mr. Singer. Good evening, Mr. Singer. Please feel free to go forward.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. If I might ask before I begin to the moderator, if anybody from Down Cape Engineering and or Rainey Remington Architects may be in the queue, if you could bring them up as panelists as well. They did participate last time. I'm not sure if they are on tonight.
That'd be fine to invite them as moderator. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
I see.
I've added Mr. Rainey, I think, to the
Thank
meeting.
you.
You're welcome. And
Okay.
there's someone, Mr. Singer, with the initials KGE. I'm not sure who that might be. Is that somebody we need to add?
The initials do not mean anything to me at this time.
Okay.
So no, I think Mr. Rainey would be great. Thank you.
Okay, he should be in.
Yes, I see him. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, as the chairman mentioned, 3 of you sat a few months ago when we were here on a petition to build out the existing second floor of the dwelling, unit 4. There were some questions and concerns, so we withdrew that application. We have gone back to the drawing board. I submitted to you, hopefully you all have it, a summary of reasoning last week, which I will discuss now. We can also, you have a full plan set. I will try to go through all of the changes we're proposing and indicate where they're different from when we were here last time. This is a conforming dwelling. It conforms to height and setbacks. It has a second floor that was under the original permit from 2003 to be unoccupiable space. That was conditions in the Board of Appeals decisions. We are asking for permission to amend those conditions to allow a partial build out of the second floor. And what the proposal, if you look at the elevations, if you're at the front of the house, this has a 1-car garage and it's a flat roof. We're proposing to put a dormer, a gable peaked ridge height roof on that. The first application had dormers on that peak on both sides and was going to have full headroom in there. And there were concerns about that. So you will see on sheet A4, which are the revised elevations, this area over the garage is being done for aesthetic reasons. It is going to not have dormers. It is going to be unfinished storage space with low headroom, you know, as you'd have normally in a gable with no dormers. And you can see that on the plans. In addition, there is a small shed dormer on the front of the house and a dormer on the back of the house as shown on the plans. Their original proposal had a full bathroom on the second floor, and that was a concern. This has been revised, as you will see on sheet A4, to have a small half bathroom. This is requested in particular because of a medical need of one of the residents of the property to have just a half bath. We are not proposing a bedroom or any living space for that up on the second floor, and that's fine with the condition that there be no bedroom on the second floor. In addition, and this was to help clarify a question last time, the loft area is open to the first floor. And you can see that on the sheet A4 where there is a double line with bollards in it. So this area is an open area. It is going to allow this space on the second floor, but it's going to be a loft area only, one large room, no bedrooms, no change of use of the property. As I mentioned, there is second floor space there already. It was referenced in conditions 12 and 13 of the 2003 decision. That's what we're asking you to modify this evening. We submit that the proposal will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. In fact, we believe that the design will make the house look better. Right now, it has that flat roofed garage, which is not consistent to the area. As far as height, we did show that on the plans. We called it out on the revised plans. There will be no change in the ridge line of the back of the house. The garage elevation is actually several feet or a few feet below the house. So the peak to the back of the house is 21 feet 8 inches, no change. The dormer on the back of the house does not increase that. The height of the gabled garage will be 21 feet 10 inches, but it will still be a foot or 3 below the peak in the back of the main part of the house because the garage is at a lower elevation. So we did show all of those on the plans that we submitted to you. Again, this is all on the inside of the house. So there's no change in building coverage, no change in site coverage, no change in setbacks. Everything there is conforming. We're before you because this is a condominium. It has been approved by special permit in relief in the past, and we have to come back when changes are to be made. There'll be no impact to parking, traffic, noise, odor, light. We do believe that the architectural style will be more in keeping. There will be no negative impact to runoff. The Conservation Commission has reviewed the proposal originally. Those of you who are here, there's a deck on the back of the house which was proposed to be converted to a sunroom. There is a long history with that deck. The Conservation Commission did not agree. The applicant agreed to remove it. So what you have on the back of the house is no change. The deck is going to be in the same location that it is now. It's a second floor deck. So there'll be no change. And we did give you a plan showing that. All of the condominium owners have voted to endorse the proposal, and we're not proposing to, or requesting to change any of the other conditions that the board imposed in the prior relief. It is just to allow the loft area to be built out on unit 4 and to be occupiable as habitable space. With that, if you have questions for myself or Mr. Rainey, we would be happy to address them. We appreciate your time. If there is anything that we did not, or I did not explain clearly, please let us know, and we would be happy to point you to the specific plan and or discuss it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. I think, I don't remember who was the third party that sat on this. I know I did. I know Mr. Igo did. Who
Mr.
else
Martin
sat?
was here.
Mr. Martin. I know Mr. Igo is very concerned about it, so I'm going to allow Mr. Igo to go first, if we could this time. What are your thoughts? You got any questions of our petition, Mr. Igo?
I actually do not have any questions at the moment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
No, I'm very pleased to see the changes that are made. And matter of fact, the original plan on the upstairs could have been closed off and used easily as a bedroom. Well, now that's been changed to a real loft type of thing with open railings and is actually even better than what had been there before. And we've gotten rid of the full bath or the shower part of the bath upstairs and the extra potential bedroom space. So I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing now as with the adjustments that have been made to the other plan.
Thank you. Mr. Neitz, any questions of our petitioner?
Is there any increase in the actual usable square footage aside from the loft area?
Only in the loft area, Mr. Neitz, through the chair. If you look at sheet A4, as you go up the stairs, so looking plan way, on the left-hand side, that space is being expanded a little, but to the right, that cantilevered portion is new over the living room. So there is some additional space on the second floor, but it is all open to below.
Okay, and that's all all within the current footprint of the structure.
Correct. There is going to be a rear dormer built on the house, but the footprint is not expanding at all.
Okay, all right. That's all I have. I think it was, if the condominium association has voted to approve this, I think that's significant development from my mind to know that they're happy with it as well, because they're living with it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Mr. Campbell.
So it's not going to be used as a bedroom, it's just be a loft. That's what I understand.
Yes, sir.
Yep. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Well, before moving it on to the public, I just want to say I'm very thankful that you came back with addressing many of the concerns. I'm not sure that's going to change the outcome, but I do want to say thank you for the effort to address those concerns that we raised at the last meeting, and in a positive fashion. My memory is that either at this location or a very similar location, we've been very concerned about the build out any greater than was allowed at the time of the the condominium, the entire grant of special permit, the comprehensive permit sort of history, and very reticent to allow any changes that would increase bedrooms or the like. And you heard that loud and clear from Mr. Igo's concern last time. I'm persuaded that this is a real good effort to try to get us to consider it in a positive fashion. With that said, Madam Moderator, perhaps you could tell us if anybody in our audience cares to speak in favor of petition 4870.
There are no hands raised.
And is there anybody in our audience who would care to speak in opposition to petition 4870?
There are no hands raised.
All right, so we now close it to the public commentary on the petition, open it up to board discussion, deliberation, perhaps a vote on a motion. But I don't care. Why don't we go the same order? Mr. Igo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank the petitioner for bringing us back what I see is a very different petition from the previous petition that he presented to the board, that as some of the board members are aware, I did have some concerns about. I think as I look at this, as council has stated, and I think should be reiterated, it does conform to the height and the setbacks. Now, we have an existing second floor in this building already. Although the condition says that it will be unoccupiable, it has been used for storage area. I think the fact that they want to just expand it the way they do and just use it, it's really not going to change that much what's going on up there probably right now. It is open to the first floor, so I think the chance of it becoming a bedroom really isn't there. We have a half bath now versus a full bath. A half bath is reasonable up there, so someone doesn't have to come downstairs all the time. You're not going to be living upstairs per se in a bedroom that only has a half bath, would require the full bath. So that gives me confidence. We don't really, I don't think you have to deal with the deck. That is something that has been there prior to this petition. And if the building department has any concern as far as whether it was legal or illegal, I think it's within their purview to do any enforcement action, and they're not asking that tonight with us. We do have a request here for modification relative to conditions number 12 and 13. You're looking, and I guess the condition modification, and I would probably go back to council and just ask what you are looking for those. I read in parentheses relative to building 4 with cathedral ceilings, but no second floor, no second level above the first floor except for unoccupiable storage area in building 4. I am presuming you are looking for, I mean, I'm not quite sure what the definition of occupiable is, but I think living area on the second floor is what you're looking for, council?
Yes, habitable space, living area.
Habitable space, is that the terminology? That, because that right there is a little confusing about unoccupiable. I think it's occupiable by the occupancy permit, but so I certainly don't have a problem with that. I mean, I think what the intent of the petitioner is to be able to utilize that space. It's really within the roof, the existing roof lines. That building is a little different because it really did have a pre-existing second floor to begin with that we put some restrictions on. But I think what they proposed to us tonight is a reasonable request. And the way that they proposed it certainly has met my concerns. So I plan on supporting this petition tonight, and I would recommend that the board support it as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm going to have to be reminded, we've, at this point, does anybody else have any questions of Mr. Singer? And if not, is anybody prepared to make a motion? No questions of Mr. Singer? Or comments you'd like to make about the petition before somebody making a motion? Then I invite somebody to make that motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the special permit as requested, and that we modify condition 12 to allow building 4 to have habitable space in the second floor area as shown on their plan, with the condition that it not be a bedroom up there, no other bedrooms, but as presented as a loft with a half bath. And if I may, Mr. Chairman, if I may just ask council, you asked for a condition modification on number 13. Do you actually need that on 13?
Through the chair, I believe so, Mr. Igo, because condition 13 discusses the one-car garage having a pergola design, which is a flat roof, and talks about the second floor storage area. So I believe we should amend both conditions with the language you stated.
Okay, then I would also, in my motion, allow condition number 13 to be modified to allow for a gable style roof above the one-car garage that is currently a flat roof, if I'm not mistaken.
And as shown on the plans.
And as shown on the plans. Yeah. Does that satisfy you, Mr. Singer?
I believe that does cover it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I'll
that-
second. Are you completed with,
Dick Needs seconded the motion, Mr. Chairman.
and along with my compliments to the presenter, since I'm critiquing presentations tonight.
Yeah,
I was
well,
paying attention during the last hearing, Mr. Needs.
Yeah, he learned very well. I noticed how he listened to every comment you made from the last 4869 and made sure not to do it in 4870. Very, very good, Mr. Singer. Listen, I think it's a wonderful resolution to those concerns that we expressed at the last meeting, which I feel were very legitimate. We don't want to see these things expand into something substantially more than was the original intent. I do think it can be done by modification as opposed to a grant of a new special permit. And I do believe that we've hit right on what needs to be added. I agree with you. Number 13 does need to reference the gable roof since it references a flat roof essentially. Okay. So in that vein, I know I'm going to support this petition as well. So we're going to start on my corners as I see them. We're going to start with you, Mr. Martin. Are you and I or nay to that motion?
I didn't get called on to make any comments before, but it would have been ditto what Sean said anyways. And so therefore, aye.
Okay, Mr. Campbell
Aye.
and Mr. Neitz,
Aye.
Mr. Igo,
Aye.
and I am an aye. So that's a 5-0 unanimous vote. I'll look forward to seeing your draft.
I will get that. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Yes, certainly. We appreciate it too. Yeah. We appreciate all of our time. Thank you.
Good night.
Petition 4871 is Peter F. Quinlan and Kelly M. Quinlan. They are seeking relief in conjunction with the property located at 27 Grandview Drive, South Yarmouth, Mass. That property being in a zoning district R40. Tonight, our applicant seeks a special permit under bylaw 104.3.2, subparagraph 2, and or a variance under bylaw 203.5 to add an addition to a pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling encroaching into the side setback. I'm seeing somebody mark Peter and Kelly. I'm assuming that's Peter. You, Peter Quinlan.
Yes.
All right, Peter Quinlan.
Can you hear me okay?
We sure can, yeah.
Great.
We see you great too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, board. I'm here with my wife, Kelly, in a small room in our house, but we own the property at 27 Grandview Drive, and we're looking to put a 13 by 18 addition off the back of the house. We're requesting relief from the zoning setbacks because we have an existing non-conformity in the home. So as the chairman said, we're seeking a special permit under 104.3.2 or a variance under 203.5, as I understand it. The addition is going to be a living room. Again, I said it's 13 by 18. And as we understand it and feel, it's no detriment to the existing neighborhood. In fact, to the contrary. The other things we thought about is the actual height of the addition will be below the existing ridge line of the current house. So from a neighbor's perspective, there'll be no site issues or visual issues that we can see anyway in the addition. So again, I don't know what else, what other information you may need, but I'm happy to try to answer any questions that you have.
Sometimes the best things said are those, the best things unsaid are those said. So, move it along. You did a great job. So,
No, no.
Mr. Needs, any questions of our petitioner?
No, I think I think I understand it. I know the house. I had sold it to the previous owner many years ago. And it's a great location, and I'd be interested to hear whether any of the abutters have any objections, but from at least first look and the elevation showing that it is certainly below the roof line of the existing roof, the existing dwelling, I think it shouldn't be a problem, but I'll listen carefully.
Campbell? Any questions of our petitioner?
I'm going to pass at this time.
All right, Mr. Martin, any questions of our petitioner?
I just have a question as to whether they should need to be here at all. It's my understanding always that additions could be added on to existing structures as long as they become no more non-conforming than what's already there, considering the existing house has a setback at its closest corner of 6.2 feet. And this addition is, way beyond that, even the closest point. It's just a little triangle of the addition actually that's in the setback. I'm not sure that you need to be here unless interpretation from the building department is different than it used to be. I don't know.
Did the building department tell you needed relief, Mr.
Yeah,
Quinn?
we were told we needed relief because the addition, I think, Dick, you mentioned it, it's about 9 square feet into the setback, the rear setback, not the side setback. So that's why we understood it to be that way.
I think the issue here, Mr. Chairman, if I may, is
I think it is the side setback. Yeah.
you're creating a new nonconformity. That's why you need to be here. Yeah.
I should mention too, though, that
in my opinion, it's a minor nonconformity.
Okay,
that's the reason that you have to be here.
That's as I understood it. Thank you.
It's shown pretty well on the plan, that darkened corner where it says that the proposed addition is 9 square feet within that 20-foot side setback. So it is increasing the nonconformity.
Mr. Igo, I don't know that we gave you a chance to ask the petitioner any questions. Have you had that chance?
Actually, I wasn't quite finished. If I can just.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr.
All right. No, I mean, I guess that's a question maybe I should have for Mark Grills. But again, the way that's showing and so forth, it is the sideline setback. It's already the sideline setback that's non-conforming all the way to 6 feet. So I think somebody's incorrect in making you be here at all.
Oh.
But whatever, it's a very minor request. The only other thing I didn't see was you were very close on the total lot coverage of 22-point-something% of the existing house. So are you still under 25% with that?
Yes, we are. We're actually, the addition is 234 square feet, so it comes in just under the 25% on the volume.
All right. Well, I think it's if it requires relief at all, it's what you're looking for is tremendously minor, and I certainly would have no issue.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not doing a good job tonight of remembering who has and who hasn't been given an opportunity. And I promise you, it's only because it's been a long day of doing Zoom hearings and the like. I apologize to you, Mr. Martin, certainly, and anybody else that I've done that to. Mr. Igo, have you had a chance? I don't know. I can't remember.
No, actually, I do not have any questions. I will make just a brief comment, and that is, I think it's really a de minimis encroachment into the setback. I understand where Dick is coming from, but the fact that you're creating a new nonconformity will require that you come here. But I think it's a very modest proposal, so I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Campbell, did I give you a chance?
You did. I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you that you need to go to the BSC group, and you have to tell them that they might want to go to a dictionary to learn how to spell the word koi, as in fish. It's K-O-I, not C-O-Y. My son made the same mistake when he got me a beautiful etched sign and put it right above my koi pond bridge. and said, which says the bridge over the River Coy, C-O-Y. So it's like a double entendre, but somebody at the BSC group really blew it.
I'll be sure to tell Karen that.
I applaud you for having a pond. I'd love to see it at some point. Maybe I'll stop by. You can feel free to not come to my house to see mine unless invited. But
May need some advice on that.
so I'm glad to see you're enhancing your property down here, which I assume to be your summer property, and I hope you enjoy, you and your wife enjoy every minute of it. Is somebody prepared to make a motion on this petition?
I'll move to approve petition 4871 as requested for a special permit.
I'll second that.
Who said second?
Campbell.
Doug.
Thank you, Doug. Mr. Campbell seconds. All right. Before
Yeah.
proceeding, does anybody have any comment or question or thing they'd like to say regarding the motions now made and seconded?
The only comment that I would make, Mr. Chairman, is I do believe the petitioner meets the criteria under the bylaw, specifically under 104.3.2, subparagraph 2, in that the extension or alteration of the existing property will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than is the existing non-conforming structure. And that is the requirement under that section.
Cool. Well, thank you for making sure we covered all the criteria. So I'm going to start with the vote now. That of Mr. Campbell, please.
Aye.
Mr. Martin,
Aye.
Mr. Neitz, Mr.
Aye.
Neitz, your vote. Okay. And Mr. Igo, your vote?
Aye.
I was afraid there for a minute. My vote's an aye as well. It carries unanimously. A decision will be drafted. It will be filed with the town clerk's office. It must be there without an appeal being taken for a period of 20 days. Assuming there be no appeal, that decision will then be, I'm hearing a lot of reverb by Mr. Quinlan, at least you're hearing me. So that decision will then be, will require you to bring it to the Barnstable Registry of Deeds and record it. We thank you very much again for enhancing your property and increasing our tax basis.
Thank you very much.
You have a good night. And so we move to adjourn, and we do adjourn. Is that fair to say?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Was that all? I thought we had one more. I guess not. But before we go, Mr. Chairman, if I may, before we let the petitioner go, I think he has a variance request.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Routinely, Mr. Quinlan, we understand that people put in alternative relief because you never know which one you're going to really need till you get here and we have our discussions in the usual sense. But when we have these sort of issues with two, we like to have the petitioner request that the request for variance be withdrawn without prejudice, meaning if you did need to come in and file a variance, so you would be able to do so because you're not prejudiced by its withdrawal tonight.
Okay.
Is that something you'd like to have now?
Yes, please. I'd like to have it withdrawn.
All right. So is anybody prepared to make a motion to allow the withdrawal of the variance without
So moved.
prejudice?
Dick Martin, so moved.
Thank you. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Neitz. See, this is one I've got to draft, so that's why I've got to make close note. All right. And on that motion, we again, I'm sorry to say, have to take a roll call vote. So we'll start with Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Mr. Martin.
Aye.
Mr. Neitz.
Aye.
Mr. Igo.
Aye.
That again carries unanimously. It will be so noted in the decision of the grant of special permit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to make your acquaintance.
You too. Take care, everyone.
All right. And with that, we adjourn the meeting, do we, gentlemen?
So move.
I think so.
Good. Good to see you all. The happiest of holiday seasons,
Good to see you.
please.
Absolutely. Everybody have a nice Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you.
Okay,
Thank you.
guys, stay safe. Stay
Bye-bye.
safe. Good night.
Bye-bye now.